If it's bull or bear, I don't care. It's quite a rough ride, just like life. But I'm kinda patient, 'cause only time will tell. It's gonna go up, so you better stay calm. And crow your coins, you gotta crow your coins. Crow your coins, crow your coins. Crow your coins, you gotta crow your coins. Crow your coins, crow your coins. Crow your coins, you gotta crow your coins. Crow your coins, crow your coins. Crow your coins, you gotta crow your coins.
Let me move my mic a little bit here. What's up, everybody? It's the Crypto Crow. It's about it's 1:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm just watching Bitcoin just crash right now. I mean, it's not really a crash. I mean, we're talking a difference in about $200 right now, but that's pretty significant on a 1-hour chart. And my guess is that it's probably going to settle somewhere in here and probably close back under this trend line that I've had in here now for quite a while. We broke above it for a little while, but there was just so much, there's just too much happening. And this all to me just didn't feel right. It didn't feel real. It didn't feel like it was actually going to go anywhere. And so the fact that this is happening now is very interesting. And, you know, I thought I would do this video to share just kind of what I think overall. Whether it matters, whether it helps, I don't know. You know, we've got a lot of the hardcore Bitcoin traders, and they like to kind of tease their viewers and, you know, whether it's somebody that's considered a fanboy or a moon boy or whatever. And I think that there's definitely a difference between a moon boy, a fanboy, and just somebody who feels strongly about the space and strongly about where we're going in our future and what it all means. To a hardcore daily trader, these swings, these ebbs and flows of price action can be the difference between accumulating, $200 for every Bitcoin owned or traded, or losing. And so these price swings definitely play a role in a trader's life, and they can be very, very stressful. I would be willing to bet, and I can't do this. I don't even know where to look, but I would be willing to bet that this dump is somehow correlated to Binance or ByBit, or like basically some of these leverage trading platforms, and some longs are being liquidated hard right now. And I do believe that this is, I'm watching this in real time. Drop, go up a tiny bit, drop, go up a tiny bit, drop. Almost like a manipulated push to the downside is being resisted slightly by the actual market movement. And when I see this kind of thing, we wicked all the way down to basically 6,800. And I can't help but feel like this is these leverage trading platforms manipulating the price to liquidate people on a Monday. I just, and I could be wrong, but something tells me that somebody out there is already looking deeper into this and trying to find some solid correlation. I should have done it myself. I wanted to do it myself, but I figured I would just come live and talk about it. And this is a part of why these leverage trading platforms just make me sick to my stomach. And, personally, I did a video where I talked about Bitcoin hitting 5,500 by January, or by the end of January. And then from that point, the price likely starting to move back up as we close in on the halving. And I still think that that's probable. But I see stuff like this and I instantly think hardcore manipulation to me. This is just not a natural movement over a 1 hour chart. I just don't see how it could possibly be. Why? Because there are so few people actually trading Bitcoin right now. The majority of people are holding. I mean, we're now under $7,000. Excuse me. We're now under $7,000. And to me, that's still insanely low. And if we do manage to hit 5,500, well, honestly, I might consider, I don't know. I'm not sure what I might do, but I definitely want to try and find ways to get more. Now, this is going to sound a little pluggy, but I want to show you guys some things too as far as Crow Trader is concerned. So this is my Crow Trader bot, and I just downloaded the new beta version 10. And this is actually kind of a lesson in terms of like why this volatility helps bot traders. But overall, I started 3 live trades, and I did the back testing. I turned on paper trading just so that I could turn these into live trades. But this is I think I did these 3 days ago. I think I started these live trades 3 days ago. And they're doing pretty well. What I did was I went to, and I shared this stuff, but I have an account at Masari.io. They don't pay me, unfortunately. I wish they would. But I was basically looking for the most volatile coins. And Data or Streamer is basically right now the most volatile coin. Okay. So, and then Engine Coin is second. And so what I did was I started doing some testing, some back testing with the bot to find out, well, how would Data's volatility affect me trading against it with Bitcoin? And as you can see, I've had 10 trades already, 10 profitable trades with the Data BTC pair on Binance Legacy. And then Engine Coin, it's funny because it's second, and I've got 7 trades on that. Now, I will say that I did start this a little later than I did the Data BTC pair. But so far, let's see here. So far, out of 17 trades, this is my total profit in Bitcoin so far. Basically, and here's the thing too. I only traded with 0.02 Bitcoin. Okay. So that 0.02 Bitcoin is basically, it's not even $200 worth of Bitcoin. Because what I wanted to see, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to figure out, okay, if I was the typical end user and I got Crow Trader and I started trading with it, how long would it take me if I was using a very limited supply of funds to generate my first profit? And so that's kind of what I'm doing now. Now, the thing of it is, and one of the reasons why I'm bringing it up is because it's Bitcoin's volatility that'll allow you to get in and out of positions with these altcoins. Okay. And this also leads me to my other point. Now, when it comes to cryptocurrency, and I will say that, let me see. I posted it, yeah. So this if you use this beta code or the coupon code, because beta 10 is out now. If you go to crowtrader.com, you can download beta 10. So if you're a license holder, go download it because it's super clean. It's rocking. If you don't have it, you can get it beta 10. Use that promo code to get 30% off. That's all the promo on. But use that promo code. It'll save you 30%. Get the bot and start letting her crap. Or I was going to say crank. But it is like typically when we get a new version and I'm downloading the newest version, I always run into some sort of bug or something. And so far it's been very clean. It's been running for 3 days nonstop without a problem. So, and there are some additional improvements coming. We're getting close to the first full live version release of the bot. So we're getting ready to start getting out of beta here soon. So my goal is to try and get as many people cranking away at the bot, getting involved with the community, sharing settings, exploring new, because let's face it, especially if you're trading on Binance, there are so many pairs, so many things that you can trade. And I use Masari to try and, say, hey, this is what's volatile right now. And the higher the volatility, the easier it is to get in and out of positions, especially when Bitcoin does shit like this. And look at it, settling right on that trend line right now. And my guess is it's going to probably close just under it. That's my guess for the hour. And that to me is the manipulators pushing it so that it's still in line with what the natural market is expecting of it, and natural trading, what the natural trading habits are at the time, what the trend currently is, things like that. And these guys at these exchanges know, because if they push it too far down, then that's really going to piss people off and could very much disrupt the overall market, which they don't want to do. They just want to be able to profit. They could push this all the way down if they wanted to. They can drive the price down, but they don't make money doing that. So they're basically, I believe that this is all manipulation here. And some guys will say, no, this is just regular trading. Bullshit, man. You're not getting a chart wicking down like that, $200-$300 in less than an hour on an asset that's being held by the vast majority of people. Like, how many, I would hazard a guess that out of the 18 plus million Bitcoin that are in existence, not even counting the ones that have been lost over the past 10 years, but how many of these are actually being traded actively now? I would be willing to bet it's probably in the thousands, not even necessarily the millions. But I could be wrong, but I think that the majority of people are holding these. They're not trading them. And because of that, I just don't see, if you're looking through the order book and you're trying to figure out like how much would it take for the price to move, this is thousands of people deciding to sell in the same hour on the same day. I just don't see it. I don't see this being legitimate market trading. I don't see how it could be. This is an exchange trying to liquidate some longs so that they can benefit from the leverage trading. And they're probably just liquidating a shit ton of people. And this is how these platforms make. And that's why the fact that so many people are promoting these platforms, it just drives me nuts. It's just bad for the space. And the more users that these platforms have trading and being liquidated and losing their ass, the longer it's going to take us to get anywhere in this space. We've already got regulation that's come by and started knocking people around. We've got so much negativity, so much it'll make you sick. It'll just make you sick. And it's difficult to not, quote unquote, capitulate. And I'm not. Here's the thing that I think, people easily forget. And that is why we are here. Okay? The majority of people. So there are some people in the space specifically for no other reason than it's a quick profit scheme. They can get on YouTube and, they can make money pumping ByBit, or whatever, right? It's like some of these guys are just solely in it because they want to try and make a quick buck. And I'm not even necessarily saying that there's anything wrong with that, as long as their information is sound, okay? And then there are people who they want to be a part of the space, okay? There are people who genuinely believe in the technology. They believe in where it's going. They understand, or they try to understand where it is today, where we're going to be in the future, what it means for the world. And they want to try and establish as much of a foundation, a basis from which to grow, further and further into the future. And that's why they're here. They want to try and help as many people as they can. They want to try and just be a positive force in the space to keep pushing things forward. And then there are others who are just flat haters. There are just people who They prey on anybody that they can. They do whatever they can. Integrity, dignity, all of that stuff cast to the side, and they're just here to try and profit off of the backs of other people. And, and those are the people that we're watching. Now, if we look at it from a retail market perspective, what do we have? Well, we have leaders, and then we have followers. The followers generally don't have time to research. They don't have time to look up stuff or formulate their own educated opinions on any given topic or project or whatever. So they basically rely on the leaders, the people who do. And so those people are making a living off of the followers, okay? Because they're typically charging, in some cases, insane amounts of money, thousands and thousands of dollars a year for newsletters and, just all kinds of stuff. And the reality of it is that the majority of those guys aren't 100%. The majority of those guys don't really know what the hell's going on behind the scenes either, right? There are so many of us who invested in projects in 2017 into 2018, and we're still waiting for the market to recover. And we made a lot of these decisions based off of the information that was readily available to the world, right? It's hard when you're investing in a project or an ICO or something of that nature. You don't know what the politics are like behind the scenes with the CEO, the CTO, the CFO, and so forth, and what's going on. You don't know all of those details, right? Like, the majority of those people are all working under NDAs, so if there's anything shit going on, the public's not going to know about it because somebody would get sued to hell in a handbasket. So a lot of the issues are kept under wraps, if there are any, and so then we're basing all these decisions on our investment based off of what we're seeing. What kind of activity is going on around the space? What's the general consensus of the project? And the whole point of all of this, is the simple fact that we are here because of the technology. I see a lot of Bitcoin maximalists, and they talk about, Bitcoin being number one, and altcoins being shit, right? Or they'll say, well, this altcoin's amazing, but this altcoin's a scam, and they're basically the same damn thing. Everybody seems to have some sort of agenda in the space, and so I've really learned to just take everything with a grain of salt. I don't believe anything anymore. Like, I feel like if it's on YouTube, chances are it's bullshit somehow. I mean, really, it's just bullshit somehow. It's somebody crafting a scenario. Somebody's crafting a narrative, right? They're creating a story, and it doesn't have to be true to get people's attention. It just has to be interesting. And, some people were giving me some shit because I had talked to Richard Hart about his Hex project. Some people believe wholeheartedly that it's a complete and utter scam and that the guy is just basically preying off of the FOMO of the general public. Maybe he is. I don't know. What I do know is that at least it appears he has been as blatantly open about the fact that he isn't giving anybody shit. He's basically saying, here's a cryptocurrency that does this. Don't expect any more. You can get some for free if you manage to do that. And if you didn't, you can buy some. If you buy some, the money, I'm sure, is going to him. I don't know if he's ever said that. Who would create a project like that and not have control of the private keys? Give me a break. I mean, it's silly to think anything other than that. What does he plan to do with the money? Who knows? Maybe he just plans on getting reconstructive surgery and running off back to Panama and taking over the town that treated him so poorly in the past. Who knows? But it doesn't seem scammy in the sense that he doesn't seem to be misleading anybody. He's basically saying, if you want to give me your money, you can, but you're not getting shit for it but this cryptocurrency that only does X, Y, Z, and don't ever expect any more to come out of it. And people are funneling in to give them their money, and I don't get it personally. But for every project like that in the space, that maybe doesn't necessarily do much of anything. It just shuffles money around and there's some winners and losers. People want to try their luck. I think people are so desperate right now for something promising, for something that even gives them the slightest hope. But the hope is here. The hope is the technology. The message is still here. The whole, don't let regulation fool you. The space has not been killed. There's been no spear into the heart of cryptocurrency. This is a cycle. And the market cycles will continue until adoption has achieved a level so massive that these cycles are much less extreme to the upside and to the downside. And the thing of it is that if you were to look at the number of Bitcoin holders in the space today compared to 2017 into 2018 and the absolute peak of the last cycle, it's insanely higher. We are constantly bringing in more long-term holders. And it's almost like you picture this bottle, okay? Propel. I love Propel. Send me 100 cases. But picture this bottle. And when Bitcoin first started, it was right here, right? And as news continues to grow, as the technology continues to enhance itself and expand and so forth and so on, and more people are catching wind about what this really is and what it really means. It's not just video game money anymore. It's not just how to hire a hooker on the dark web or buy some dope or get someone killed. Right? It's not just about that. It's really not about that anymore at all. But those are the first adopters. And you can even compare that to, like, in the general world, one of the biggest industries to adopt the latest in technology on any given thing is what? Porn. Okay? You can hate porn all you want, but typically they're the first to adopt the newest and greatest and biggest technologies before anybody else does, because they're always looking for ways to be more competitive than everyone else in the world that's doing the same damn thing. How many ways can you make sex interesting, right? How many ways can you make it more real? How can you get deeper into the minds of somebody so that you can get their cash? And while that may strike some as, ooh, that's terrible, that's just the fact. So who do you think is going to be of some of the first adopters in Bitcoin? Vices. It's going to be those who are trying to curb their cravings for a variety of different vices or nefarious things or whatever. And we've grown so far from that. But over time, as more altcoin projects continue to get their legs, right? Further sending out that message to new people. It's not always going to be Bitcoin that attracts the attention of a new retail investor. It's going to be the latest application, dApp, or new blockchain technology that's releasing that's going to draw some of these new people in. Projects like Electroneum, okay, which some love, some hate. I feel that's the same with just about every project out there. But I will guarantee you that Electroneum and through their marketing and their efforts have gone out, pulled new people into the space who then discovered Bitcoin. You know, Richard Hart was talking about Power Ledger, and some of the things he said about Power Ledger were really no different than his own project. He just, for whatever reason, decided to target Power Ledger and not his own project. You know, talked about how insanely great the Ethereum blockchain is. Well, I have to disagree, because the Ethereum blockchain, from what I understand, even as a non-developer, while it has gone out and established this ICO craze that has drawn so many new people in, again, while people are shitting all over this Ethereum or ICOs or altcoins, what's happening is they're pulling in new people into the space. And what are they doing to get into these projects? Well, 9 out of 10 of them are buying Bitcoin first. And that transaction alone sends Bitcoin's price up. So the whole point I'm getting to is, over the course of time, this bottle will continue to fill, which is Bitcoin's adoption. The number of people, it's not like people are buying this and I'm taking a swig. Bitcoin, this bottle is continuing to fill up and continuing to fill with very little being emptied out, because a lot of people that go into Bitcoin are going into it because of its 5-year, 10-year projection based off of a stock to flow chart that to date has been pretty damn accurate. So the trading activity that we're seeing like this, I don't buy as legitimate market activity whatsoever. And the reason why we are here is not just about the idea that we're going to buy some Bitcoin and average in over time. It's about accumulation. And how are we going to continue accumulating more and more Bitcoin over time? It's going to be through the altcoin market. And I don't care what anybody out there says, the Bitcoin maximalist saying, oh, that's a shitcoin and that's a scam and that's a this and that's a that. It doesn't matter. And it doesn't take away the very fundamental idea of what these altcoin projects do for the retail public. It gives people the opportunity to get into a cryptocurrency for pennies on the dollar, likely to 10, 20x, and go back into their Bitcoin position with more than they started with. And a lot of that is driven based off of the fundamental progress of the project, the team, the partnerships, so forth. It doesn't matter if that project is a 10-year project. Power Ledger is something that I believe is going to continue to pick up steam over the years. It is a very long-term hold. But that's not going to stop it from spiking up in the next rally. Because of that very sentiment, it's going to be the altcoin projects that have lasted through this bear market and not remained quiet. It's going to be the altcoin projects that have continued excelling in the space, adding new partnerships, enhancing their blockchain, whatever the hell it is that they're doing. The projects that have been sitting idly by, waiting for the market to come back and rescue them, are not going to prove or bode very well in the next rally. But even those projects will still be pumped. Every dog has its day. And even these shitty scam coin projects are going to have their day as well. Probably many, many, many. The reason why we are here is because we are trying to save ourselves from the recession, from the absolute collapse of the US dollar, and therefore likely other fiat currencies across the globe. We need an alternative. Cryptocurrency, I firmly believe, is that alternative. And we are laying the foundation for that to be the alternative right now. So when you look at these market swings and you're thinking about the immediate dollar that you could have, should have, maybe would have had, but didn't because the price crashed $200 or $300 over the course of an hour, and damn, you missed out, you'll be fine. I see the comments all over the place and people losing their minds when they see this kind of activity and they don't know what to make of it and they think the sky is falling. It's not. Things are going to be fine. Have to wait it out. I'm going to take a quick look at chat, and I'm not a socialist. You're retarded. Ridiculous, I should say. I have a scratchy voice because I've been a little sick. Oh, it's just troll. Okay. First of all, 99% of all altcoins are not going to zero because it's just not possible for them to go to zero. It's that simple. Well, thank you for hitting the like button. I appreciate it. Hopefully you subscribe. It's not often that I do videos like this lately, but yeah. I think that the price could potentially hit, 6,000 is fair. Between now and the end of January before we really start to turn things around. Who knows? It really depends on the people. To some degree. I mean, the manipulation's obviously going to be playing a significant role in the price between now and the next halving. And a part of that is because of the number of people that are just throwing their money into these leverage trading platforms, just begging to have it liquidated from them. It's just, so even some of these new projects, they're absolutely funding themselves based on greed. It's the greed and the hope of the public that are so desperate for something positive to come out of this really dark and dreary space we're in, this time we're in right now. It's not going to last. I absolutely believe it's not going to last. And a lot of these altcoin projects, let's face it, there are probably, 2,000, 3,000 altcoin projects now? Even if a third of them did well, and the rest, to say that 2,000 of those projects are likely just going to become dog shit and ignored between now and throughout the next cycle. Look, some of them are going to be picked for pumps and things like that from different groups. And like I said, every dog's going to have its day, but it's going to be the projects with the truly solid fundamentals, the projects that have outlasted this bear market, that have continued to achieve things. Those are going to be the projects that are, because let's face it, if we get to the point where Bitcoin gets back to 20 grand and we're thinking, okay, it could 5x from here and be worth $100,000, but in that time, it might take a year to 2 years to get there. Or I could put some of this Bitcoin money into some of these altcoins that'll likely 10 to 15 to 20x in the same time frame, and then take those profits, put them back to Bitcoin before it hits 100,000. What do I think I'm going to do? Well, I think I might go put a little bit and diversify my portfolio and get into some of these altcoin projects. But when I do, just in case I'm wrong, and Bitcoin happens to rise up faster than the altcoins do at this particular time period, I want to be in a position that should I have a bag and have to hold it, I'm going to base my investment decisions based off of who continued to accomplish solid things over the last bear market. And I think that's what's going to drive a lot of the money into the altcoin space moving forward. Because think about it, a lot of these projects, I'm sure, are probably still holding a lot of Ethereum. And that Ethereum's going to go back up as well. I believe that a lot of these altcoins are probably going to go back up faster than Ethereum will. But because I think Ethereum has just got too much competition now. And I believe that when Cardano really wants to hit the ground running, I believe Cardano is going to go straight for the jugular of Ethereum. And I truly, truly believe that wholeheartedly. And I'm going to be very excited to see that race start to take off. And there are other projects out there as well. And I know at least, 5 projects, 5 pretty significant projects that are abandoning the Ethereum blockchain in favor of Stellar Lumens, for that matter. Anything can happen between now and the peak of the next bull run market, but don't lose sight of why we're here. Don't lose sight of what this space means overall. There are going to be so many ebbs and flows in the space between now and the next market peak, but what's going to take us to that next market peak is you. It's going to be your belief in the space. It's going to be your understanding of the technology. It's going to be the fact that you have spent this bear market establishing a new foundation from which to grow. And if you give up and walk away, it's just going to take that much longer. You have to get involved. You have to use. You have to, I actually started using the Monarch wallet. Beatles and I have been friends forever, and I never keep anything on my phone. But I have 3 phones now. And I'm using my Monarch wallet on one of them. Not for anything significant, but I'm using it just because it helps. And every bit of adoption helps. You teaching your mother, your father, your sister, your grandbabies, whoever. You teaching them about the space and evangelizing the space as best you can. They always say the best way to learn is to teach. Because to teach, you have to know. And to know, you have to research, or you look like a fool. And so, for me, I've always used that philosophy. I'll give you an example. Well, I close those windows. I'm actually going to start trying to learn Python. Martini guy actually turned me on to that and the idea of it a long time ago. We were chatting. And, he was like, I can teach you, and I'm like, okay, cool. And he got busy and he's got a whole bunch of stuff going on. We kind of haven't been in contact for a while. But I saw a video and I was like, not one of his, it was like a 4-hour video teaching Python. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to give this a shot and see if I can do it. When I'm up late at night, I just don't want to paint models and I don't want to look at crypto. I just want to learn something new and then maybe come up with something else that I can teach people. So slowly I'm diving into learning Python just for the hell of it. So, look, guys, I one of the best ways I know right now to accumulate more Bitcoin is Crow Trader. So make sure you check it out. I've got the video on the website that I did. It's in the promo. And this text I literally just put here. I mean, it tells a little bit of a story, but it's really for SEO. Yeah, version 10 is there. And let me see if I made any trades since I started the video. I think I did. I think this was 7. I think it might have closed a trade since I started this video. I could be wrong. I have to go back and look. But yeah, this is what I've made now in profit of Bitcoin, trading these 2 pairs over the last 3 days. So it's not groundbreaking, but keep in mind, I started with basically at the time it was $200 worth of Bitcoin. It was 0.02 Bitcoin. And now I'm at, this is my current Bitcoin balance. And it's waiting for, I'm trading on Bollinger Band. And as you can see, the price dipped on there. It's been kind of flat here. But once it gets back to a certain point, the bottom of the Bollinger Bands, you know, this will show you. So it's showing you the entries and exits of those positions, showing you my profits. I could probably turn trailing on some of those, and I might get some even more profits out of those trades. But yeah, I mean, it's going well. Beta 10 is really starting to crush it. I'm getting more excited. I'm going to start doing a lot more of these back testing and things like that. But I really I'm like, how can you really talk about a bot unless it's making you profit by live trading? And it is, in fact, making me profit now. You know, I'm curious, you know, if I were trading with more than just 0.02 Bitcoin right now, my profits would be much more, I'm sure. But like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm just using it right now, doing, you know, like what would the typical end user do that gets a copy of CoinTrader? Well, or Crow Trader, excuse me. They're going to use, you know, maybe a couple $100, 3, maybe 500 at most. So I'm going to trade with a couple $100 and see what it can turn into. My USD value right now is down, obviously, because that. So anyway, that's it. We're at 37 minutes. I'll call it. I just kind of wanted to rant a little bit. And, you know, notice how we're just kind of hanging out under this trend line. This is the same trend line that you've seen me have on here for quite a while now. And, you know, it is what it is, but the sky is not falling. And you know, when you're out there, I highly encourage you to just continue. Like, I'm not a licensed financial advisor, obviously. Anything could happen in crypto. But if I were a typical standard end user that didn't know anything about anything, I would continue averaging in, especially at dumps like you know, if it drops down and you're averaging in between now and 5,500 and then it starts to go back up, you're going to find profit much, much sooner. That's it. So what's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me. Yeah, calm down every day. All right. I'm going to get back to work. I love you guys. Thanks for joining me. A lot more people today than alive than there normally has been in an afternoon. I will also let you guys know that I'm going to be doing a video with Amir with crowmining.com because we are launching the new dashboard for those of you guys that are into crow mining, new dashboard is coming, which is going to empower you to basically do your withdrawals whenever you want to whatever wallet you want at the time. So that's going to be really cool, and we're going to show that to everybody on Thursday, I think about 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So plan for that. And yeah, I'll see you guys again soon. Enjoy watching the crash. And I'm sure you guys will probably, I'm guessing opticalartcrypto.com on YouTube. He's probably live streaming this right now, showing everybody where he thinks it'll hit. So I might check out that next while I'm getting some other work done. Check him out. He's a good guy. He seems to know his stuff, and he has a lot of fun with lots of pretty colors and patterns. I might go check it out and see what he's doing. Thanks for joining me. Have a good day, and have an amazing week. See you guys soon.